Kingslayer! Get in here!
Yo, what up guys, it's your Kingslayer fanboy here. We've got a lot of Jaime-centric videos in the pipeline, but in order to keep them clean, I am splitting out some focused topics, like this one. Does Ser Jaime fear death? No, he doesn't. This concept is one of the bricks that we can build upon when analyzing his past choices and predicting what the future holds for him. So let's review what we know. In the show and the books alike, Catelyn accused him of being fake, of pretending not to fear death.
That is what you want the world to believe, isn't it? That you don't fear death.
But I don't, milady. The dark is coming for all of us. Why cry about it?
I believe Jaime for two reasons. The first reason is because actions speak louder than words, and several times his actions prove this. But first, we need to highlight that Jaime is not just reckless. He chooses when to avoid death and when it's not worth fearing. Here's an example. In the books, when Jaime and Bran are first captured, he thinks about killing some of his captors and dying in the process. He decides not to do it. He decides that at the time, Bran is not worth dying for, at least not yet. But it's tempting. The thought of taking down half the captors would make it almost worth it. Eventually, this feeling takes over. He fought them, knowing that he couldn't win. But he did not fear death. He was fine going down swinging. And not long after, he jumped into a bear pit to save Brienne.
From there to here, from here to there, all black and brown and covered with hair, he smelled that girl in the summer air, the bear, and the maiden fair.
One-handed and unarmed, he knew that Steel Shanks would kill the bear in order to save his precious cargo, Jaime. But we can't downplay his heroism. Jaime risked his life to save Brienne. Now let's actually go back in time. Here's the coolest example. It happened off screen, at the Battle of the Whispering Wood, when Robb captured Jaime. I made a video on that if you're curious what happens. It was a pretty awesome battle strategy by the young wolf. But let's look at Jaime's part in it. Robb tricked Jaime, lured him into a trap, and outnumbered him. Quote, "No one can fault Lannister on his courage," Glover said. When he saw that he was lost, he rallied his retainers and fought his way up the valley, hoping to reach Lord Robb and cut him down. And almost did. He mislaid his sword in Eddard Karstark's neck after he took Torrhen's hand off and split Darren Hornwood's skull open, Robb said. All the time, he was shouting for me. If they hadn't tried to stop him, ...
He cut down 10 of our men. You saw him.
And in the show, we get a similar scenario in the Loot Train battle. Our boy one-handed charged Drogon. He had just seen Drogon burn hundreds of people alive. He saw Drogon jump down on people and he saw him smash a wagon with his tail.
You fucking idiot.
Afterwards, Bronn asked him why he did it. Like, dude, are you nuts?
What the fuck are you doing back there? Ending the war. Killing her.
Jaime's actions are driven by an urge to save people, not to kill people. More often than not, he takes lives to save lives.
We could end this war right now, boy. Save thousands of lives. You fight for the Starks, I fight for the Lannisters. Swords to lances, teeth, nails, choose your weapons. And let's end this here and now.
Mad King Aerys, and even Bran.
The things I do for love.
To save Cersei, and even Ned's men.
I'm looking for my brother. You remember my brother, don't you, Lord Stark?
The only reason he attacked them was to try to convince Ned to let Tyrion go free.
My brother, Lord Stark. I want him back.
But getting back on track, Jaime clearly is not afraid to die. Especially if he is cornered, or if he can save lives by doing so. Here are two more examples of book scenes that were left out of the show. So Jaime was traveling with Bran and his cousin, Ser Cleos Frey. First by boat. Some of Robb's men find them and are chasing them down a river. So it's just 3 of them, and Jaime says, 6 for each of us. I'd want 8, but these bracelets hinder me somewhat. Unless the Lady Bran would be so kind as to unshackle me? They've been rowing since dawn, resting 2 oars at a time. They'll be exhausted. Just now the sight of our sail has given them a burst of strength, but that will not last. We ought to be able to kill a good many of them. His cousin gaped. But there are 18. At the least, more like 20 or 25, his cousin groaned. We can't hope to defeat 18. Did I say we could? The best we can hope for is to die with swords in our hands. He was perfectly sincere. Jaime Lannister had never been afraid of death. That last line is crucial to this topic. Those words are not italicized. Those words are not Jaime's thoughts. Those words are the words of an omniscient narrator, George R.R. Martin, confirming that Jaime Lannister had never been afraid of death. I made a video on that boat scene, check it out if you're curious. They eventually leave their boat behind, pit stop at an inn, and buy some horses. But some bandits surprise them, and really quickly, the bandits kill his cousin, Sir Cleos Frey. Jaime is still chained and he's unarmed, but he charges the crossbowmen because, in his opinion, crossbowmen are cowards, and this time he was right. They fled. If he had just sat back, Brienne may have been able to win. She's pretty badass. But she was already shot by some crossbows. It would have been a difficult fight even for her. So this is a great example of Jaime saving his own life and indirectly saving Brienne's by chasing them, by scaring them off, unarmed, all because Ser Jaime had never been afraid of death. So it begs the question, does this counterintuitively foreshadow Jaime surviving until the curtain closes?
Listen to me, cunt. Till I get what I'm owed, a dragon doesn't get to kill you. You don't get to kill you. Only I get to kill you.
I think so. Or does it foreshadow Jaime doing something heroic, like protecting Rhaegar's child Jon, dying doing what he does best, saving lives?
How many men have you killed, my lord?
I don't know.
50? 100? Countless.
Countless has a nice ring to it.
And how many lives have you saved?
500,000.
Let me know in the comments. I've got a bunch of Game of Thrones videos up already on Patreon if you're interested. Pledging $1 to a creator for even a single month is the equivalent of watching something like 500 videos, so $1 goes a long way. Please consider it. And to all my Westworld fans out there, I'm back.
Oh, sorry. Are you kidding me? What? Fuck you, Grizzly Adams!
We'll gradually make those videos public as well. Get hyped for season 2. It's coming soon. Best show out there right now.
What about Aerys Targaryen? What did the Mad King say when you stabbed him in the back?
He said the same thing he'd been saying for hours. Burn them all.